Far away in the hills of southern Italy, there is a strange town that looks like it came from another world. Old stone houses sit on the edge of a tall hill. Broken towers rise into the sky. Empty streets twist between ancient walls. This place is called Craco. Today, nobody lives there, but hundreds of years ago, this town was full of life. Families walked through the narrow streets. Children ran through the stone alleys. Church bells rang across the hills every morning. Craco was not a small village. It was a proud town built high on a mountain. The people who built it believed the hill would keep them safe. From the top of the town, they could see miles of land around them. They could watch for enemies. They could protect their homes. The town slowly grew. More houses were built. Stone towers were raised. Farmers worked in the fields below the hill. Bakers opened shops along the streets. Merchants sold food, clothes, and tools in the market square. For many years, Craco was a busy and peaceful place. Life moved slowly, but people were happy. But the hill that protected the town also hid a dangerous secret. The ground under Craco was not as strong as people believed. The soil was soft, and the hill was slowly moving. At first, no one noticed the problem. Small cracks began to appear in some buildings. A wall here, a staircase there. People thought it was normal. Old buildings often cracked with time, but the cracks slowly grew larger. Doors stopped closing properly. Some streets began to tilt slightly. Still, most people did not worry. Craco had survived wars, storms, and many difficult years. The people believed their town would always stand strong. But nature had other plans. In the early 1960s, heavy rain started to fall across the region. The rain lasted for days. Then weeks. Water soaked deep into the hill beneath the town. Slowly, the earth began to move. The ground under Craco started to slide. At first, the movement was small, but then the landslides began. Large pieces of the hill started breaking away. Stone houses shook. Walls cracked open. Parts of streets collapsed. People woke up at night to strange sounds. The ground groaned beneath their homes. Sometimes rocks rolled down the hill in the darkness. Fear slowly spread through the town. Families started to realize something was terribly wrong. Some houses became unsafe to live in. Floors tilted. Walls split apart. Stairs broke. Even the church buildings began to show damage. The town that once felt strong and safe now felt fragile. Experts were called to study the problem. Engineers arrived and looked at the hill carefully. What they discovered was frightening. The entire town of Craco was built on unstable ground. The hill was slowly collapsing, and it could become much worse. Officials had to make a difficult decision. If people stayed in Craco, they could be in serious danger. More landslides could destroy homes. The town could break apart. Finally, the government made an announcement. Residents would have to leave. Families were told they must move away from the town. For many people, this news was heartbreaking. Craco was not just a place to live. It was their home. Their memories lived in those stone walls. Their parents and grandparents had lived there. The church where they prayed, the streets where they played as children, the houses where families grew together. All of it had to be left behind. Slowly, people began to pack their belongings. Some families moved to nearby towns. Others moved far away to start new lives. The streets of Craco grew quieter. Shops closed. Windows were boarded up. Schools became empty. One by one, families left the town. Each goodbye made the silence heavier. Soon, the once lively streets became empty. Wind moved through the narrow alleys. Doors creaked in the quiet air. The town that once held hundreds of voices now held none. Craco had become a ghost town. But the story of this strange place was not over yet, because even after people left, the hill continued to move, and the town of Craco was about to face an even greater disaster. Even after most families left the town, Craco did not become silent right away. A few people still hoped the town could be saved. Some believed the landslides would stop. Others simply could not imagine leaving the place where their families had lived for generations. But the hill had already started changing. cracks in the ground became wider. Some streets slowly bent like a broken spine. Pieces of stone walls began falling into the empty alleys. The beautiful old houses that once stood strong for centuries were now weak and fragile. Then in 1972, something terrible happened. Heavy rain returned to the region again. The water soaked deep into the soil beneath the hill. And once again, the earth began to move. Another large landslide struck the town. Huge sections of the hillside collapsed. Rocks and soil slid downward, pulling parts of the town with them. Some buildings tilted dangerously, others broke apart as the ground shifted beneath their foundations. This time, there was no doubt, Craco was no longer safe for anyone. The last remaining residents were forced to leave. Families locked their doors for the final time. Some people took only what they could carry. Many belongings stayed behind inside the empty houses. And just like that, the town was abandoned. The streets that once echoed with laughter and footsteps became silent. Days passed, then months, then years. Without people to care for it, the town slowly began to decay. Rain washed against the stone walls. Wind pushed through broken windows. Plants began growing between the cracks in the streets. Nature was slowly taking the town back. Today, when people look at Craco from far away, it still looks like a real town sitting on the hill. The tall tower still stands. Rows of stone houses still cling to the mountainside. But when you walk closer, the truth becomes clear. Many buildings are broken. Roofs have collapsed. Windows stare out like empty eyes. Dust covers the floors of the houses where families once lived. Old staircases lead to rooms that no longer exist. The wind moves through the empty streets, creating strange sounds that echo between the walls. Sometimes it almost feels like the town is still alive, just frozen in time. Because inside many buildings, traces of life remain. Old furniture sits untouched, faded. Walls still show where pictures once hung. Rusty doors creak slowly when the wind pushes them open. Every corner of Craco tells a story about the people who once called it home. Over the years, this strange ghost town has attracted visitors from all over the world. Historians come to study the ancient buildings. Travelers come to explore the empty streets. Photographers come to capture the haunting beauty of the ruins. Even movie directors have used the town as a filming location. Its dramatic towers and broken houses look like the perfect setting for historical films and mysterious stories. But behind its beauty lies a powerful reminder. Craco was not destroyed by war. It was not abandoned because of disease. It disappeared because nature slowly changed the ground beneath it. A small shift in the earth was enough to force an entire community to leave. Today, the town still stands on the hill, watching over the valley below. No smoke rises from its chimneys. No lights glow in its windows. Only silence remains. Yet, the stone walls still whisper the story of the people who once lived there, the story of a town that stood for centuries, until the mountain beneath it finally gave way.